Owner financing is another really cool option. And, I'm a mortgage lender, so there's nothing in that for me, but I'm a relationship guy. So my number one goal is always to help my clients get what's best for them. So I've had a lot of clients that have come to me lately, and I've told them how to get owner financing. And there's a lot of ways to do it, but I'll give you a couple stories. First and foremost, my old pastor's wife, about 10 years ago, she was flipping a lot of her properties to owner financed. And I was just like, oh, that's really nice of her. That must be a generous thing that she's doing that. But once I started understanding, wait a minute, she has a ton of equity. She does not want to sell them and take a capital gains hit. She needs fixed income because she's in a retirement stage in her life. And this is a way for her to, it's going to help some people that aren't going to have to come up with as much down. They're going to be able to get a rate that's a little bit better at the time than maybe what rates are. And so there are a lot of people out there right now that have properties that are free and clear or with really low mortgages that they don't necessarily want to take the hit and pay the taxes on selling that asset that they may have bought at $100,000 that's now worth $4, and there's $300,000 of capital gains. So for them, like if they could get some cash up front and a down payment, if they can get a fixed income out of that, like an annuity, it's a pretty cool thing. It's a win-win to the buyer. And the thing that I've learned is a lot of sellers aren't aware of that. They're not aware of that option. And so I've had some clients who have wrote a letter and they put pictures of their family on it and just talked about kind of where they're at and where they're at with income, and the market's really tough. And they've actually walked around neighborhoods and given these letters, and they've actually accomplished doing this. So that's my experience. Tell me a little bit about your experience with owner financing and maybe another case study of where that's worked out for somebody.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to take it to the extreme because we're talking about creative finance, because I think what's important to delineate is the fact that owner finance is not all that creative in terms of a solution, right? There's some pretty typical, historical ways that that's done. But what people miss out on is all of the creative advantages that come around owner finance. And the best way that I describe this is understanding that when you're talking about creative anything in real estate, what you're having is a price terms conversation. Because I agree with you. I think if you need a house, a homestead, and you want to look for seller finance, like writing the letter, putting your family in there, knocking on doors, like that's a great way to possibly uncover a seller finance situation that would be advantageous for you. But it's an even easier way to do it if you're not doing it for that purpose, but you're doing it for building wealth and building your portfolio, is finding the sellers who are willing to trade their terms for a better price outcome on their house. Because again, the beauty of real estate, you and I know this. I hope that the people listening to this know this, but if you don't, the beauty of real estate is everybody looks like a genius in 20 years. Like the price doesn't matter if you get great terms. Now, make no mistake, I like good deals. You like good deals. Like I like it when I get that big discounted property or that big opportunity, I love that. But at the end of the day, what I love almost as much of that is amassing a large portfolio of quality assets that have good terms that I'm going to let do their thing for the next decade or 2 decades, because my kids aren't going to care what price I paid for these properties. They're going to look at my portfolio and think dad was a genius, even if I paid too much. And so owner financing allows you to create these win-win scenarios through creative thinking where we get out of the box of nickel and diming each other over one lever, which is price.